73 from 40. Still got to keep his foot down on the accelerator, but he also doesn't want to get out, not now, because he's been the central pillar of this innings.
But it's been an innings where he hasn't pulled any punches apart from against Wasim.
Down the pitch goes Tucker, and he's got enough on it. No, he doesn't. He finds long off. And Lorcan Tucker's great innings comes to an end. Saim Ayub is the man who takes the catch at long off. That has been a captain's innings by Lorcan Tucker.
Well batted, Lorcan Tucker. First time he's been out there as Ireland's captain. He goes for 73. Ireland 132 for 2.
I don't understand.
Neil Rock, the new batter, out for Ireland. He's come into the team today. Comes in at number 5, and he comes in at an exciting time in the innings. He does like to hit straight down the ground, the left-hander. Usually a wicketkeeper as well. He won't have the gloves today.
Well, he's got this through. Backward of point. Mohammad Amir gives chase. Fielded, good throw.
Yeah, brilliant pick up and turn there, and got rid of the ball quickly. Makes sure that they don't come back for a third.
Well, Neil Rock's figures don't inspire a lot of confidence. 20 T20s before this, with an average of 9. So he's got it all to play for here. Neil Rock, who's come in, but he's got a great foundation laid for him. Was that a chance?
Well, I just want to talk about that shot, because we'll come back to it, I think, after the break. As 14 overs are done, Ireland are 135 for 3. Just talking about that shot, Alan. I don't know if you noticed his bottom hand coming through.
Yep.
A very much a hurling type shot. So the bottom hand whipping through, that's one of the things that really adds to Neil Rock's game. We saw it as well with that late cut. Very good wrists.
School ke liye ready?
14 overs gone here. Shaheen Afridi, 2 overs, 1 for 9. Mohammad Amir, none for 17. Hassan Ali's expensive, none for 42 in 3. Abbas Afridi, 1 for 31 in 3. Saim Ayub has bowled 2 overs of spin. Imad Wasim, 2 overs, 1 for 14. The pick of the bowlers once again. Shaheen Afridi, 2 overs, 1 for 9. Mohammad Amir, none for 17. Hassan Ali's expensive, none for 42 in 3. Shaheen Shah Afridi, tallest man on the park, and I would say he's probably the tallest man of the two sides. Maybe Mark Adair might like to have dispute that, but I think Shaheen's above him.
The man at the non-strikers end, Harry Tector, he's probably the closest, actually.
Afridi, tallest man. Once again, is it the point that you made about the technique of Neil Rock there? You could see it was a real bottom hand that pushed the ball towards mid-wicket.
It's something you have to get used to very quickly as an opposition team, because he hits the ball in different places to what you would expect. A little bit like Hayley Matthews in the women's game, just the speed of the wrists at the bottom of the swing.
You made about the technique of Neil Rock there, you could see it was a real. He's given himself a bit of room, and Shaheen knows mid-wicket. He was in for a shout. Once you see
get used to very quickly as an opposition team, because
room,
he hits the ball in different places to what you would expect.
As a bowler.
A little bit like Hayley Matthews in the women's game. Just the definitely makes someone like Afridi Add a few kphs on.
He's given himself a bit of room, and
But we talk about that average for Neil Rock, and I think it can be a difficult one as a middle to lower order batter. When you talk about the average, you're coming in sometimes in the last over, and you have to go from ball one. It doesn't always do you justice.
Definitely makes someone like Afridi
really hard
add a few
to Babar Azam
kphs on.
at long on.
But we talk about that average for Neil Rock, and I think it can be a difficult one as a middle.
Yeah, it can be difficult to bowl to him because his hands come through so quickly. So you think you're in with a chance, bowl quicker and quicker, but the hands come through so fast.
Now, those of you wondering what Isabel Joyce was saying, because
really
he's a
hard
hurler.
to Babar Azam
Hurling is a sport
on.
that's very much an Irish sport. It's played with a stick.
A hurl?
Yeah, it can be
A hurl?
difficult to bowl to
I
him
suppose a
because
stick
his
if you
hands
don't know
come
what a
through
hurl
With a little
quickly,
net
so
at the
you
end
think
of
you're in
it.
with a
No,
chance,
no,
bowl
no,
quicker,
no, no,
but
there's
the
no
hands come through
net
so
at the end.
fast.
I've got the wrong sport up.
Yeah, you have. You've got lacrosse going.
That's the one.
He's a hurler.
Hurling has it's like, I suppose
Very much
it's
an
got just a
Irish
wider
sport.
part at the
It's
end, more like a
played with
hockey stick
Right.
that's been
A
flattened.
hurl?
A hurl?
I suppose a stick if you don't
Round
know
the
what
wicket
it
this
is.
Little net
time
at the end of it.
No,
for
no,
Shaheen.
No, there's no.
So just with the technique for
got the
hurling,
wrong
and it's
sport.
camogie
Yeah,
if
you
you're a
have got the
female,
cross
it's called
going.
two different things. But for hurling, it's very, your hands are the opposite way around to your cricket grip. Your hands go the other way around, so it's your bottom wrist in the swing whips through for you to hit the ball, and that's why the wrists are so strong for hurling and camogie players.
Sounds a complicated game to me, but it's a great game, isn't it?
It's fastest game in the world, apparently. You have to be fit as well, because
Yeah.
those pitches are big, 15 aside.
In the air, Babar Azam takes it. Pakistan's captain takes the catch. Neil Rock is the player who's got to go. It's another wicket for Shaheen.
Well, he's given a chance today, Neil Rock, but doesn't make use of it. Really didn't get much of that. Lifted it down to long on with that bottom hand that we've been talking about, Neil Rock. He goes for 4. Ireland 137 for 4.
George Dockrell, who has really worked hard at his batting over the years. It's become a dependable bat, and he's got a few aggressive shots. This is the end of Neil Rock.
Yeah, he didn't go either straight enough or wide enough, just lifted it into the hands of the fielder in the deep at long on, Babar Azam. It looked like he only picked it up late. He didn't expect the ball to be coming towards him, but he did get there in time and pouched it.
It's a good over from Shaheen. 15 overs gone. Ireland 137 for 4.
Well, big wickets for Pakistan. Put them maybe back in the ascendancy, given how high-scoring a series we have seen here in Clontarf. Excellent batting surfaces produced. But the brilliance of Shaheen Shah Afridi in particular right now is maybe edging Pakistan in front. It's a big final 5 overs as Alan Lewis, the former Ireland captain, joins me. Louis, this contest here, Ireland under par, under strength in terms of their personnel in the 11, but definitely putting it up to Pakistan.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. The innings of Balbirnie and Tucker in particular was absolutely outstanding. And I think, a symptom of the series has been this change of attitude. They've constantly gone for attack. Tucker 73 from 41 deliveries, scoops, various different things, helped out and abetted by some very poor outfielding by Pakistan, I'd have to say.
hasn't just been the outfielding. The glove work of Azam Khan is very much under the microscope. We have it as 2 drops and a missed stumping, all off Lorcan Tucker when he was on 7, 28 and 45 respectively. Has that surprised you, given the quality of Pakistan?
Yeah, I think Pakistan today have been, again, a wee bit of a mixed bag, but you've got to give credit to the Ireland batters for the way they approach things. And I kind of think that, I don't know, I know you mentioned one of them certainly was given as a leg by the umpire when first ball.
Yeah, that was the missed stumping down the leg side. That'll be a wide. Dockrell just taking a little while to get going, which is unlike him. 24 off 12 earlier in the series, promoted to number 5. Today, the Irish think tank went with Rock at 5. Is that because of Imad Wasim?
I think that was part of it. I think the other part of it is, if you think about it logically, logically, Andrew, they've got it. The effort really was to test Rossiter, to test Neil Rock in positions where they could make an impact, and they didn't, to be fair, in this particular game. But I think it's part of an exercise. Paul Stirling will be playing every day of the week if he was fit, but they're making an effort to say, well, if Stirling gets injured, and let's look at Imad.
Full toss, hit down towards long on. Missed time by Tector, is not going to carry. I think it's Rizwan out there who's been maybe one of the few live wires in the field. Took that excellent catch, although he's had a misfield or a fumble or 2 as well. Completely clothed by Tector. Fortunate to survive.
But if we look at it, Andrew, momentum swings. 3 overs ago, we were at a run rate of 10. And in the space of 3 overs, momentum swings. This is just what T20 cricket is, and you've got to keep going. You have to keep going.
That's a bit more like it. That's going to go all the way for 6. George Dockrell, he's more known for his power down the ground, but that's onto the Clontarf roof, and well held by that gentleman up towards the old players' changing rooms. Gets us to the end of the 16th, 147 for 4. Talk about those little momentum shifts, Alan. You're spot on the money. In the 14th over, only 6 runs, and the 15th, only 2 runs, including the wicket of Neil Rock. There's the bowling options remaining for Pakistan. Do you see any more spin, or will it be the pacers to close things out for the final 4?
I think realistically it'll be pace seeing things out. And look at that. Look at those bowling figures by the lead. Shaheen Afridi, 3 overs, 2 for 11. The star performer from today so far.
And that will probably be a wide outside the off stump. Mohamed Amir missed the first game, was just a little bit delayed in getting to Ireland. His maybe 3rd or 4th incarnation as an international cricketer. His talent has never been in question. Has he still got plenty to offer Pakistan?
I think he does, because experience is a great thing, and he's won many a game for Pakistan. That's what you've got to remember. And again, in these World Cups, moments where people with that experience, when they've done things, you've saw him dismantle India in a Champions Trophy semi-final, if you do remember that. And it's another wide from Mohamed Amir. So clumsy, you would say.
Yeah, I think the excitement Amir brought when he burst onto the international scene first was the lateness of the movement back into the right-handers in particular. No shortage of pace, that famous over. I think it was the Asia Cup as well as the Champions Trophy, where he just seems to love the big stage, the big occasion. And you think about how valuable left-arm seamers are. Obviously, Shaheen Shah Afridi will play, presuming he's fit, but why not have 2 left-arm pacers if you can? Round the wicket now for Amir. Looks for the block hole, misses it, and it's out to Shaheen Shah Afridi. Landmark for him the other day, Louis. 300 international wickets, the 12th Pakistan bowler to do it. Look at some of the company he's joined. Wasim Akram, Waqar Yunus, Imran Khan, Shahid Afridi, Saqlain Mushtaq, Shoaib Akhtar, Umar Gul, and plenty more. They are some of the greatest bowlers of all time, not just for Pakistan.
Well, he is one. Shaheen Afridi is box office. Whatever way you want to look at it, he's been a quality performer for so long for Pakistan. George Dockrell will be disappointed he missed out there. That foolish ball wide. He's worked on this ability to slice the ball. Pakistan have deep point and a wideish third man, and interestingly a fly slip just inside the circle. So that's what Amir is going to be looking to bowl. Certainly with that field set that we have here today.
Think of all those brilliant names I was just mentioning to you, Abdul Qadir and Mushtaq Ahmed, the leg spinners in there. So many wrist spinners or mystery spinners and so much express pace. And this has gone a long way up. It's gone nowhere. Can Amir himself get there? Oh, yes, he can. That's an excellent running catch. Dockrell, for the second time in the series, is foxed by a slower ball. He's ended up looking a little foolish from a very skillful piece of bowling. Pakistan have 5.
Well, a beautifully skillful piece of bowling there from Mohammad Amir.
So Dockrell's gone for 6, Ireland 150 for 5.
One of the pieces I want to talk about, Andrew, there is, again, that what you talked about, this slower ball from our cutters. And this was something that really Ireland didn't do any of in the second T20I. And you can see completely how Amir outfoxed Dockrell. And Dockrell has this habit which is tricky. He takes his front foot away to the leg side, which leaves him a lot of room and gather to get the ball offside. So part of his own downfall was his own in that capacity, but a great piece of skill from Mohammad Amir.
Yeah, and also the line, you saw it there nice in the replay, didn't you? I'm not sure, was it the off cutter? It might have even been the knuckle ball, which we're seeing more and more. Camphor to the crease. He's in at number 7, very busy cricketer. He's really Ireland's utility man. He seemed to turn to him whenever they're in moments of crisis or real pressure, and he's developing a nice reputation for having ice in his veins.
Well, he's done that. He's a supremely confident young man. And that was proved, of course, in the first T20I, taking Ireland over the line with 3 outstands to get them there and to bring this series to the conclusion that we're going to have here today. Lost a little bit of momentum, you would feel. Loss of wickets.
We'll need a flying finish to even get close to 200, let alone the 193 that they posted the other day. Remember, till Pakistan chased that down, it was a record total. Big smile on the face of Mohammad Amir, a record total at this ground. There hasn't been much T20I cricket, as we've tended to be either in Malahide or up in the north of Ireland in either Stormont or Breedy. But it's great to see Clontarf back in action. The square was relayed in 2019, and I think the pitches have played outstandingly well. It's sold out crowds, great atmospheres too. A little edge to that position you were talking about, and the throw comes in. Tector would have got back. Ireland just struggling to get moving here in the last 5.
Well, I think it's very clever from Pakistan. This offside field they've got, that fly slip area that collected that delivery, wideish third man, and obviously deep point on the line with Amir bowling that line. And again, this is something that if the Ireland camp are looking at things, this is an area they can be looking at, because Fakhar and obviously Rizwan exploited that leg side so much in the second T20I.
Well, it's an exceptional over, isn't it, from Mohammad Amir? Not a boundary from it, and only 5 runs in total, including the wicket of George Dockrell. 3 remain, 152 for 5. End of the 11th over, Ireland 106 for 2, and 6 overs later the momentum has just been sucked out of the innings. Can you pinpoint why that is, Alan?
Well, it's pretty clear it's loss of wickets. When you get a flow of wickets, momentum shifts. And again, you can clearly see the dismissal of Rock and Dockrell, and Ireland are going to need a big finish here, Andrew.
Yeah, I can't see 180, which would be about 10 runs per over, for the last 3 being enough. Might be wrong, Ireland could bowl out of their skins. They certainly didn't bowl particularly well the other day in the second T20I. And this man is certainly very, very skillful at the death. Been impressed by him, Abbas Afridi, the man from the Multan Sultans in the PSL. Slower ball, and another one goes down. Well, those butterfingers, they're spreading out there amongst the Pakistan camp. I think that's maybe drop number 4 today. Fakhar Zaman, that's a dolly.
That is an absolute dolly, and there seems to be a disease on this ground because, of course, Ireland were in exactly the same position, but that is a dolly at this level. Tector really not getting hold of it in any shape or form, and it's an important period for Harry Tector. This particular period to try and, as the senior player, take things home with some big, lusty blows.
Now there's that almost trademark camphor shot, but all he can do this time is pick out Shaheen Shah Afridi, who takes the simplest of catches. Well, he should have maybe have had 2 and 2, but instead he gets immediate return to wicket-taking action. I've been so impressed by Abbas Afridi. Another one for him.
Well, I was going to say that he has been exceptional in this series to date, and this will be really good for Pakistan coming into the World Cup, no doubt about that.
Okay, Camphor the latest to go. He's gone. Get a look at the replay first. You can see that attempted innovation, looking for a shot he likes. He actually probably got it where he wanted, but all he could do was pick Shaheen Shah Afridi out, and Camphor's gone for one. 153 for 6. Mark Adair to the crease at number 8. Certainly a handy asset to have there, but Ireland, they've got themselves in a tangle. Really, with the exception of Andy Balbirnie and Lorcan Tucker, no one has scored with any fluency.
None whatsoever. And there's 2 things that are going to happen here, Andrew, with Mark Adair at the crease. It's all duck or no dinner.
Boom or bust is what Alan Lewis says, and so nearly is proven right in the first ball, but he doesn't get it well enough to pick out Mohammad Rizwan that long on. Something that's been very noticeable has been Ireland's continued attempts at aggression. I think it was Harry Tector that hit the first ball for 6, and first and second T20Is. Several players have hit first balls for 4.
Yeah, very much so. And look, and that has been a trend. It's been a welcome trend for Ireland, because certainly their T20 form leading up, they great difficulty against quality spin, Andrew. That was one of the issues. Power plays weren't really a problem for them. It was in these middle overs that they struggled.
Another slower ball. Tector does well to find the gap. I'm not sure he picked it at first, but he adjusted very, very nicely. A little bit off the tail end of the bat, but it's a critical and much needed boundary for Ireland.
Very much so, but he hit that with a bit more purpose, Andrew. That's one of the big things. When you're hitting square of the wicket, literally in slower bowling terms, take it out of the keeper's gloves. And the fact that he hit it later keeps the square fielders static, and anything either side is 4.
Yeah, it's the out of the back of the hand slower ball that is one of Abbas Afridi's go-to deliveries at this stage. Good adjustment from Tector. Now he wants 2. Will he be able to get back? He should be, because he finds the gap between the 2 men on the rope in the deep. Tector had a boundary from his first ball, but then his next 12 deliveries wasn't able to pick one up. They're these small margins, aren't they? You don't have really time to play with at a high-scoring ground.
Well, true, but I think to be fair to Tector, he was losing wickets at the other end, so you just lose that little bit of momentum. That was the difference between Balbirnie and Tucker. They were both going at the same type of rate, and you just drag each other along. That's what tends to happen.
And then even if you look at George Dockrell's innings, just the 1 maximum for him. That's almost come off the back of the bat, possibly, but it's going to be effective again. 2 badly needed boundaries for Ireland, just gives them something to work with 2 to go. It's 164 for 6. Two overs remain. Alan, 190, could it be enough? It wasn't the other day.
I thought it was going to be enough the other day, but just to be honest with you, I think in terms of cleverness. Outside of Ben White, there was no relent. If you kind of think about it, Pakistan were up with the rate all the time, and then at the end just fatigue got to Ireland. You could clearly see that. It was nearly like they were throwing in the towel in a boxing ring, you know what I mean? They got to round 8 and 9 and they'd just taken all the blows.
I think the heads went down after the 2 drops as well. You could almost visibly see it. Ireland had fielded so well in the first T20.
Well, I think if Ireland are to win this game, they've got to take every chance that's going.
Here comes the pick of the bowlers of the day. Shaheen Shah Afridi for his 4th and final. He was at points good in the first 2 games. He did pick up 3 wickets in that last contest. I think it was 3 for 49 and a wicket, 1 for 26 in the first. He's been different class today, Alan.
Absolutely, but that's the sign of greatness. And again, as you pointed out earlier, he's joined the 300 wicket club for Pakistan. That's not without good reason. And he is one of the premier bowlers the country have ever produced.
You won't believe it, Alan. He's 24 years of age. We spoke in the pre-game show as he nails another Yorker, which Adair can't get anything on, about him possibly doubling that total of 300 international wickets. He could easily treble it.
Easily. Interesting thing here, Andrew, Mark Adair's come in. Tector's 28 off 17, the senior player. To a certain extent, you've got to get down the other end. You've got to get bat on ball. You have to get bat on ball.
I think the latter point's even more important. Even if you can't get the other man on strike, at least if you're swinging hard enough to get something on it. 2 swings and misses thus far for Adair. This time he gets an edge and he's going to be caught. It's another one for that man, Shaheen Shah Afridi. It's really been a series that's been all about the batters, but today it's about one man. He's in your screen. It's maybe Pakistan's best.
Well, Mohammad Amir again with the safe hands, and Adair goes 1 off 4 deliveries, 164 for 7.
Well, what a sensational bowling effort from the big, tall, left-arm quick. Remarkable to think he's just still 24 years of age. I was in Lahore about 18 months ago covering the Ireland women versus Pakistan women's series that I know you watched a lot of, Alan, with your daughter Gabby, playing so finely for the Irish women's side. Shaheen Shah Afridi was on almost every billboard as you go around Lahore, and if it wasn't him, it was Babar Azam or it was Mohammad Rizwan. They're the national heroes of the country.
Well, when cricket is as popular as it is, they are the national heroes. That's the way it works. And you've got to make the most of your time when you're in that stage or on that stage. That's the name of the game. And Afridi's certainly done that.
Graham Hume to the crease, and he does what Mark Adair couldn't, despite having to scamper to get there. He does get Harry Tector onto strike, but Ireland already well behind in this over. 4 deliveries, 1 run, 1 wicket.
Yeah, Afridi really has been on top everything now here, and these are 2 very important balls for Ireland and Harry Tector, you would think. And it's just a question, he's probably going to look, if he can, at some form of boundary from this delivery, and maybe one get down to the other end and face as many of the 6 that are remaining.
Yeah, with 3rd and fine leg up in the circle, you just wonder, will he look for innovation? Long off is the other area he could target with mid-off up in the circle. Not easy when Afridi comes round the wicket. Instead he goes square, but there's protection out there, so it'll just be a single. You would imagine this is a bit of a freebie for Graham Hume. 2, 4 or 6 is the result that Ireland will want.
Well, he's got to be thinking that way. He has to be thinking that way, and he's got to be looking for the boundary.
One more look at the Mark Adair wicket here. You could see where he was trying to hit, but with the angle that comes in, forces the ball in. Very difficult for Adair to get something on it. And Harry Tector's just gone down to have a word with Graham Hume. He does not want a single here. Afridi might be thinking of a 4th wicket too. Here's his final ball. Hume is going to get maybe the worst result for Ireland. A single means he will keep the strike. But it wraps up the most sensational spell of bowling. It's been the spell of the series thus far. 4 overs, 3 for 14 for Shaheen Shah Afridi. It's 167 for 7.
What were we at the end of 13?
Well, the last 6 overs have completely and utterly belonged to the visitors, Pakistan. They've all of a sudden got a stranglehold on the series because of that passage of play. Ireland were 129 for 2, going at 10 and over, the best part of it, after 13. And since then, they've lost 5 wickets for just 38 runs in six overs. And the game has swung heavily towards Pakistan. What can they do in the final over? Hume will at least get Tector onto strike. I think that Ireland need 16, 18, maybe even 20 from this to stay in the game.
Well, if you remember, Tector did this against Afghanistan. He had a huge last over in that first T20 against Afghanistan. I think it was certainly 22, if not 24. He hit off the remaining 5 of the 6 deliveries, and Ireland are going to need that right now.
Can't get anything on it, flicks the pad, and it means Hume will come back on to strike a leg by. Well, your enthusiasm is always getting the better of you, Alan. It was 19 off the final over, but he only faced 4 deliveries in it, and he took Naveen ul-Haq down in a big way, 6-4-4-4 to walk off to give Ireland what was a winning score on some slow and difficult wickets there in Sharjah. Ben White was the player of the match with his 4 for 20, but Tector was brilliant with 56 not out off 34. He's not going to get to that total today. As Hume pumps one down the ground, he's going to get 4. That's helpful. It's not from the bat of Tector, but equally effective from Graham Hume.
Excellent shot that from Graham Hume. Right down the ground. It's one area you cannot defend, and he hit it with great purpose down the ground. That will be a relief to Ireland.
Yeah, well, straight down the ground here, particularly at Clontarf, you get such good reward. And mid-off up in the circle too. Great engagement with the fans, isn't there, at this ground? You're just so close to the action. That'll be a wide. And maybe Tector, oh, he might have thought of getting on strike there, surely. With the day Azam Khan has had, that was a chance to get down the other end.
I think he was a little bit sleepy there, Harry Tector. He would want to be getting down on strike, and there would have been a massive opportunity to get down there right there and then.
Yeah, certainly Azam Khan has not had a day to remember with the gloves. He'll have work to do with the bat in the second innings. This will be a single, so 2 balls left for Tector to maybe find a couple of boundaries from. If Ireland finished with 180, could they defend that, Alan? It looks a very good batting surface.
It's a very good batting surface for sure. In fact, one of the features, and hats off to the ground staff, they produced absolute belters here for these T20s. Lots of good carry, and certainly it's aided the batters, and you'd kind of think possibly when you look at the 2 games that we've seen, it could be just that little shade light.
Yeah, and particularly given, I know I wasn't here, but through March and April, it was torrential rain, really. The summer took an awfully long time to get to us here in Ireland. Tector gets it out towards the man. There'll be no chance to get back for the second. The boundaries have just dried up in a big way. Tector's played nicely. Is it going to be enough, though?
It's an unforgiving game, this T20 cricket, Andrew. And we've seen all aspects of it through this innings. And you've got to take your hats off to Pakistan, the way they fought back. Last delivery.
Now, surely Tector's going to try and come back for the second. The throw goes to the correct end, but it's wide of Azam Khan, and well, that sums up his day. I can't think of too much that's gone right for Pakistan's wicketkeeper, but the bowlers, driven by the leadership of Babar Azam, for me, have Pakistan on top at the halfway stage. Yes, it's an Irish side that is shy of the likes of Gareth Delaney, Paul Sterling, Barry McCarthy, and indeed the IPL bound Josh Little, who remains in India for the moment. But right now, at the halfway stage of the decider here on a thrilling Tuesday, is 178 for 7 going to be enough?
I fear not. Ireland are going to have to bowl and field out of their skins if they've got to compete here. And it's ironic that you look at it in the context of all the games. They've been so high scoring. And Ireland hopefully have done a wee bit of homework from the second T20I in terms of how they've bowled and where they've bowled. And if you can